Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Black Book Show. I'm host Makonnen Sankofa. As well as being the host of the Black Book Show, I am also the authors of the books, which is the first book, The Rise of Rastafari, Resistance, Redemption, and Repatriation. Then I have Life in Gambia, the Smiling Coast of Africa. And also How to Market and Sell Your Book, a guide for beginners. Now, in case you haven't been on a Black Book Show before, I'm just going to explain the format and tell you a bit more about the platform. So the Black Book Show, this is in conjunction with Auntie Jean's African Culture Market. So it's like an event within an event. And this particular episode, you will be hearing from a variety of authors who will be talking about books that are on a wide range of different subjects. Most of the authors will be talking for 15 minutes, or some authors will be talking for 10, but they will be talking about the book that they've written, basically why they've written a book, giving more information about it. Each author will be speaking about the book in their own style, so it's not really interview style. It's the authors that we come in on that'll be doing a speech or a presentation. The Black Book Show has been in existence for over 3 years now. So it started in May 2020. And I am really happy to say that over the last 3 years of the show, I've had 300 authors of African heritage from all over the world. So I've had authors, some that are in UK, other parts of Europe, some that in USA, Canada, Australia, Africa, the Caribbean. So it is an international platform with authors, from all over the world, and also, people, audience attendees that, in different parts of the world as well. So this event is live on Zoom. It's also live it's being streamed on Facebook Live and on Black Culture Radio. The recording of the show will be going up on P English Literature YouTube channel. Peter, the founder of P English Literature YouTube channel, he's actually one of the guest speakers who'll be talking later on the Black Book Show as well. Right, so without any further ado, I'm going to go into my first guest speaker on the Black Book Show, which is Tony Fairweather. So Tony, please come on, just first start by saying, where you're based, introduce yourself, and then, take the 15 minutes to tell us all about, the book you've written.
My name is Tony Fairweather. I'm the author of £28, 10 shillings, a Windrush story. It's a story of the backstory of the Windrush people, how they sold their pigs and their goats and their cows, and how people put their money together to get people on that Windrush boat in 1948, and what happened on the journey over. In London, England, we only talk about the Windrush people when they arrived in London and what happened in London, the racism, the Windrush scandal, how people were denying jobs and accommodation, but people did not talk about the journey over, what actually happened on the boat, and how they got that £28, 10 shillings to get on that boat. And in today's money is over £600. This was in 1948, just after the war. So that's a tremendous amount of money to put together. People in the Caribbean knew that if they could get someone on that boat to England, they would earn more money in 1 month than you would earn in 3 months in the Caribbean. We were invited over by the King of England and the government of the time to come and help the mother country. Caribbean people were actually taught about the mother country through schools and educational systems, and they should serve the mother country, so they were willing to go. The average age on that boat was between 19 to 22. That's how young they were. And they literally took a grip, which is a small suitcase, a piece of paper with an address on, paid for the ticket and got on a boat with 1,000 people and made a journey to England. The Windrush ship, that's where the name came from, the Windrush generation. The Windrush ship actually came from Europe and went to Trinidad, Mexico, Jamaica, Bermuda, then on to London. At each stop, they picked up people. Before the ship got to Trinidad, it had Polish people on board. And during the journey, they picked up Cubans, ex-Germans, demobbed Caribbean soldiers and English soldiers. There were at least 6 men to 1 woman on the boat. And I interviewed a number of elders about their journey over, not just on the Windrush ship, but ships that came afterwards. And they all said to me there was a lot of dancing, there's a lot of drinking, there's a lot of gambling, there's a lot of dominoes on the journey over. And they got to meet a lot of friends. And some women met their husbands, and some men met their wives. And as one 92-year woman told me, some women had to get married very quickly after they got off that boat. Make of that as you will. It was a real insight talking to elders and getting their stories, because they hadn't talked about that side of the journey. And I had to use, I tried to tape them, but they looked at the tape, they looked at me, and they wouldn't talk. When I put the tape in my bag, they opened up to me. And they would only open up to me if it's just me and them in a room. Because I'm talking to an 89-year-old, 92-year-old person who came over when they're 19, 20, 21, 22. And they're going to tell me about things they haven't told their husbands, let alone their children or their grandchildren or their great-grandchildren. I was honored to share their stories. A lot of them shared their stories with me because they knew my father, Mr. Ivor Eugene Fairweather, who's passed now. And they saw me as a child, and they saw me as a man, and they trusted me. And I've kept their trust. I've not put their names in the book, but I've kept their stories. Because there's that old saying, if an elder dies, a library goes with them. And I've kept their stories in that book. And you may think, oh, I must have made it up, but believe me, it's historical fiction, but a lot of it is true, a lot of it. So I've tried to explore the backstory to the Windrush before they got here. Each character, you get to know them. Each stop, you get to know the island. You get to know their lifestyle, what they did, how they raised their money. And when the boat goes to another stop, you get to know their lifestyle, how they got their money. And it all comes together in the last stop in Bermuda, when they are finally setting sail directly to London for 2 weeks and 2 days. And all these characters are mixing on board. There was a lot of music on board every night. This was told to me by the elders. There was a lot of drinking and gambling on board. There were 3 levels to the ship. And some ships had literally had sound systems, gambling and smoking and dominoes, etc. So it was for young people, it was an exciting time for young people. But I also heard horror stories of the crossing. There were people who talked about how they unfortunately they felt sick. The food was terrible. It was 1948 after the war. The foods were rationed. They were powder food. A lady told me about one of the ships where the women got together and they literally ran into the kitchen and told the chef he's got to do better. And the chef said, well, you cook. And they did. For the rest of the journey, the women got together and they cooked. And they literally cooked. And literally, when they got back to Tilbury docks, the captain said, would you like to stay on the ship and cook some more? So I hope you get the characters. I hope you understand the characters. And I hope you get the feeling of what happened before they got here. So when people in London, particularly in England, see these elders, they understand their backstory and how they got here. The Windrush people are never acknowledged for what they did. In London, they built the economy. In London, they built the NHS. In London, they built literally lives. And they also built the economy in the Caribbean. Every month, individuals were sent back a postal order with £1, £2, or £3 to their relatives in St. Kitts, in Cuba, Ghana, wherever. They sent it back. And that money helped rebuild the Caribbean after the war. And that's never acknowledged. Those postal orders put a lot of people through schools and colleges. And there's so much that the Windrush generation have given to the world and to the Europe and to England. And my book is a dedication to them. And I hope you get to get an insight and an understanding of what they call the Windrush generation. So in clothing, this is my book, £28, 10 shilling. I hope you enjoy it. There's a play coming out next year, stage play of this, and we are negotiating film. So have a great evening this evening. I hope you enjoy the book, and I will hopefully see you soon. Thank you.
Greetings, one and all. I hope all is well with you and your family, and that your lives are blessed in many ways. My name is Jennifer Hallal, and I am a woman of faith, a single parent mother with one daughter and 2 beautiful grandchildren. I am based in London, England, of the first generation of Windrush children. My parents were born in the island of Grenada in the Caribbean. And I would say that my story is also on the lines of the Windrush era. It is actually called The Spice of Life. The Legacy, the book 1, I actually have 4 books, but this is the first one. My second one is called The Slave Master's Daughter, also based in the Caribbean island of Grenada. I began writing about 10 years ago. I'm not actually a writer. I actually work in architecture. I had no plans to write at the time, but through a dream I had one morning, I decided to write. I was compelled to write a book, and I had no experience. I didn't think of it before. I didn't even know what I was going to write about. But then I started writing things down of no real, just randomly writing things down. And then when 2019 came and I was actually finishing a contract on a job, I decided to gather together all the notebooks that I had written and make it into one book, realizing that I had so much material that I actually had 4 books worth of material. So I decided to, so I started to publish one book. Now, my first book, The Spice of Life, is actually based on 2 people that I know, based mostly on my parents' generation, who were born in the Caribbean. And but when they married, they decided to come, the husband decided to come to England. He was about 21. And obviously his wife, they'd just been married and she became pregnant, but she had her first child in the West Indies. Now my book actually starts off with her having her child in the West Indies in the late 1950s, and the community, what Grenada was like, the island, the people, the beauty of it, the actual, everybody was together, everybody had some sense of, even no matter whether you were poor or not, you all sort of kept together, everybody knew about everybody. When the father of the child called Davis came to England, there was nobody but the people on the boat that he had made friends with to know. And then when they landed in England, it was only really the Salvation Army who actually helped them to get somewhere to live, somewhere to stay, if you were lucky. I mean, there were stories of 6 men sharing 3 beds. Three men would sleep during the day because they worked nights, and the other 3 men would sleep at the night because they worked days. There was stories of if you could not find a room for the night, because yes, there was a lot of racism, and a lot of people, they had the sign, I think everybody knows, no Irish, no blacks, no dogs. If you punched a policeman, you would get a cell for the night, at least. So I pick up stories. I mean, most of my stories are based on what I heard as a child growing up about the generation that came to this country, how difficult it was, how they had to find places to go for where they normally gathered together in each other's rooms, or, you know, where they were allowed to go, because certain places wouldn't have them. And that even included churches, because apparently they made them uncomfortable, the other parishioners. that were not of the Caribbean persuasion. So I tried to write as much as I could in regards to making the people, the Black Caribbean people, more human, in the sense that they had situations in life that they were very young, but they also tried to support each other as best they could. They were getting very little money, and sometimes they were getting less, but then job opportunities were available. I mean, my mum would say to me, she could walk out of one job and walk into another the same day because there was lots of work available. That doesn't mean that they would get paid any more or less. I was born in the 1960s, and the idea of childcare was different then, because my mum went to get a childminder for me when I was 3 months old, because she had to go back to work, and they were still living in one room after four or 5 years, trying to save up to buy a deposit on a house. And the childminder she found was an English white lady, and she had several other children that were not Caribbean, but they were allowed to have 3 or 4 children. When my mum would come home after work, I would be waiting in the pram outside the house. Nobody else around. So this was weird to my mum. She had never come across this before. And then she would take me outside the lady's house and bring her to where she was living in the one-room house with other people who were living in one room. So this is just one of the stories, I mean, of what it was like at that time. And then my book does end up with they actually finally getting a house, but there's also other stories that go in that are actually involved in it. I could tell you about, there is the, hold on, sorry. My books are actually called the Legacy books. It's actually 4 books, besides the Spice of Life and the Slave Master's Daughter, which are actually written after slavery, where the slave master's daughter marries an African slave and is disowned. That is also based in the Caribbean, in Grenada. And they have 4 sons who are not allowed to read or write. This is back in, I said the 18th century. They're not allowed to read and write, but one of them becomes a millionaire, which is really unusual for that time. My 3rd book is called The Roaring 70s, 1970s. And it is a story about, sorry, it's a story about the 1970s where it's more wealthier, more family orientated, more people have more money, but the family dynamics is about to change. More people are getting divorced. More people are becoming single parents. There is a divorce, which was unheard of before, which seemed to be going on things. People are expecting more, still working hard. The environment is getting better. The community is getting better, but things change. Things have changed. And then my last book is about my search for love. And I've called that The Future is Happy. So these are my 4 books, but I've only got two books that are available at the moment. Now I hear Amazon are actually closing down, selling their bookstore. So I'm not sure how true that is, but my actual book is actually, the first book, The Spice of Life, is actually on Amazon. You can get a paperback or a hard copy. The Slave Master's Daughter, I've just finished writing, so that should be on Amazon soon. And the other books are yet to be written. I could actually read to you one story from the Caribbean about where Davis, who's actually trying to find his passport to come to England, and he needs his birth certificate. His mother doesn't know where his birth certificate is because his father, when he was born, his father went down to the registrar office to register his son. So his name was Davis Mark Jr. And he thought he'd get another copy of his birth certificate at the registrar office, but he had to bring his father with him. So he went, when his father wasn't working on the plantation, they went to the register office and they asked the clerk if they could get another copy of his birth certificate, given his full name and birth date. Unfortunately, the registrar clerk could not find his birth certificate or any record of him being born. So he said, but his father said, well, I came down to the registrar personally and I registered my son. So she said, well, we do actually, when she looked again, she said, we do actually have a Davis Mark Jr. So Davis said, of course, that must be me. She said, no, it can't possibly be you unless you are a twin of unless you are a girl. Because yes, he was registered, but he was registered as a girl. It was it was humorous, but unusual, because most times, even though you were born with one name, you could be given another name while you were growing up. So your birth certificate could be totally different to the name that you were used to. But in his case, he was actually a whole girl. So he had to get, both his parents had to go down to the registrar office and re-register him as a man, and before he could actually come to London, England. This is one of the stories I mentioned in my book. I hope you do enjoy reading my book. It is not as thick. I didn't make it as thick as I would have liked it to be. I thought I would just write down the stories and the different things that I had read, I had heard as a child and growing up. It is, you know, it is I would say it actually made me want to write more, but I didn't want to put too much in a book because I didn't want to overburden the book with too much. But there is mention of the actual boat as well, the activities that happened on the boat, on the Windrush boats to actually get to England. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for listening and have a good evening and enjoy the rest of the evening, what's happening with the other authors as well. Thank you.
Greetings. I hail from the island of Jamaica, where I live a natural, holistic lifestyle as much as is possible in this modern day world. My given name is Armando Forsyth, but the name I go by is Maverick, which is the name I claim for myself. I am the author of The Mind Hacker, which is a self-help book. And I was inspired to write this book because of certain challenges that I faced along my journey, and subsequently overcoming same. I thought to myself that a lot of people may be facing the same things that I have faced and similar things. And so that I was courageous enough and mentally capable to take on this journey. And in doing so, I decided that I am going to share what I went through and the tools, philosophies, and lifestyle changes that I made in order to help me to navigate my life moving forward. So the Mind Hacker is the result of that. And every human being is faced with mental ailments. It is only the degree to which each of us face it that is different. And therefore, it is a constant maintenance of the mind that we have to do, because the mind is very powerful. I think a lot of people don't really understand that. They don't really understand the power of the mind. And therefore, this is one of the reasons why their life is the way it is, because everything starts within the mind. So you have to come to the acknowledgement of that and the realization that your reality is created via the thoughts that you have on a daily basis. And so the mind hacker is perfect for that because it has tools and knowledge that will help you to navigate your mental state or the mental aspect of your being in order to take control of your life and understand that things are not just happening to you coincidentally. There is a reason for everything that transpires within your life. And when you come to the realization of that, you can now take the necessary steps in order to be the one to create your reality. And these are just some of the things that the Mind Hacker provides. It is a very deep book, but at the same time, the layman can take it up and really grasp what it is saying. And it is not a book that you read one time and you just put down and you never touch it back. You will always want to go back and check it out because it really is a powerful book, if I do say so myself. And once you get a hold of it, you can see for yourself what it is that I'm saying. So these are some of the things that you can expect from my new book. It's my first book. I published it back in 2021. And yeah, it really is a great read indeed. So I'm going to read for you an excerpt from it. All right, so this chapter is called Manifesting Reality. We are all manifesting something every day, whether we are cognizant of it or not, from small things to bigger things, and ultimately, our dreams and desires. When you are aware of this innate ability of yours, such things labeled as coincidences, luck, and miracles become second nature to you. You are no longer left scratching your head, wondering, because you will know what you are creating when you consciously do so. Nevertheless, the universe will never cease to amaze you. So, The Mind Hacker by Maverick. You can find it on lulu.com. So that's lulu.com. It is available in paperback and ebook as well. And it is also available locally here in Jamaica in select bookstores and directly from me. When you get it directly from me, you can get it signed as well. So if you're in Jamaica and you want to get a signed copy, just hit me up. You can find me on Instagram at Maverick_I_am_. And that is the Mind Hacker. So go check it out, get your copy, and elevate your life today via the power of your mind. I'm going to leave with you 3 reasons why you should get it as well. The first reason is to expand your mind and your consciousness. The second one is to overcome mental ailments. such as depression, anxiety, and a host of other things. And the third one is to become the master of your own mind. And in this way, you can create the life of your dreams. We are truly co-creators of our reality when we understand the power of the mind. Bless up.
Thank you very much. So that was Maverick. Please, if you could, I want you to do just one more time, just to say the title of the book, where it can be purchased from, just for those who are listening via radio as well. Yeah, just say it one more time.
Okay, all right. So the name of the book is The Mind Hacker by Maverick. And it is a self-help book, basically about taking control of your mind and ultimately your life. It is available at lulu.com. That's LULU.com. It is available in paperback and ebook as well. And you can find me on Instagram at Maverick_I_am_.
Great. Please put your links to the book, and feel free to put your social media links as well in the Zoom chat. Thank you very much, Maverick. And I just want to remind all the authors coming on now, please, at the end of your speech, I know during your time you're speaking, mention where the book's available, but please always make sure at the end of your speech that you mention the title of the book and where the book is available, just to remind people.
Hi everybody, I'm Sabrina Spencer, and I just want to say a big massive thank you to every single person who is on this Zoom today and all the live links. I know it's so hot in London. I'm in London, I'm based in London, and it is boiling over here. So everyone who's actually on this Zoom and watching this, I commend you, definitely. So I'm going to jump right into it and just say a little bit about myself and how I started out writing books. So I'm the former Windrush ambassador for Croydon under the former mayor, Hamaim Kuber. And basically, during the Windrush times, I don't think that, a lot of the, should I say, the Caribbean people had much to know about their history. There wasn't really much there for them. And for myself, I thought as a child growing up, there wasn't much of Black history for the youths, for us to actually find out about ourselves. We used to have one day at school a year, which was Black History. They would have Black History Day when it was Black History Month, and that was it, unless your parents would tell you about it. My sister and myself was very lucky. My mum and dad, we used to always know about Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. So my young nephew, Kamali, it was his birthday. It was his 7th birthday. And he was really into superheroes, and there was no Black superheroes at all for him. There was a film that came out, what was Black Panther, but that was not for a 7-year-old. So my sister and myself sat down and said, we need to bring something to the youth. So we need to create something. So we created a Black superhero family called the Powerfuls. I thought I'd just show you it as it's here. I hope you can see it because the lighting's really bad. So this is the Powerfuls. It's been out for 3 years now. I have it in 9 shops around the UK. So this is the dad, and his name is Nelson, after you know who, Nelson Mandela. And he is very fast and very strong. And that is his superpower. So they all have superpowers, and they get their superpowers from their African ancestors. I mean, we really went all out with this book. The mom, her name's Harriet, from Harriet Tubman, and she is literally, she runs at the speed of light, and she can teleport as well. The sister, Cleo, she has healing powers. As we know, us melanated people have special healing powers. The brothers now, they're twin brothers, and they got their powers in the book at the age of 8 from their African ancestors when they touched the Ankh. So we brought that right back into it. Martin and Malcolm, that's their names, from who? Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, as a child, what my sister and myself grew up on. And they both have powers where they can see the future and they can tell people's thoughts. So basically, when I came up with this with my sister, we really wanted my young nephew to know there is a Black superhero family with a mother and a dad, because, you know, there's nothing really out there. If you look out there, there's nothing that are showing the youth of the world that there's Black families out there. And I really wanted to like home in on that. You know, if you go to school and you work hard, you can achieve anything. So this book really is about them going to school, getting their grades, and, you know, really aspiring for more. And then on top of it, they get the gift that they're superheroes. And so we've got 2 books now. The second one, they actually save the world, which is absolutely amazing because they get to go to NASA. I mean, I really brought home that we are in London. So you can see the London Eye in it. You can see Big Ben. I mean, they live in a beautiful home. I really would like everyone to, you know, really try and get this book for their nieces, nephews, daughters, sons. This book, I see this book going everywhere. We're literally doing an animation now. I see it being in Disney. I really think that this book is something that the youth of today, the melanated, and not even melanated, just ethnic minorities, even though we know we're not minorities, but I think this is something where we can really, you know, push our youth to really work hard and achieve anything. So with this book, a lot of things have catapulted from it. And we have come up with a vegan sweet range as well, which is in Westfields, in Stratford. So you can go to Fashion Meets Music in Westfields and you can purchase some vegan sweets, because obviously we want to give something back to the youth, let them know that it's not about this gelatin and all of this. So they're vegan sweets. And we also have a some chocolate bars, actually. We have white, dark and milk chocolates. The white and the milk chocolates are vegan. No, sorry, they're vegetarian, but the dark chocolate is vegan. So I'm trying to come up with an all vegan line, but it was really hard to get the white chocolate and the milk chocolate as vegan. So it's a vegetarian. So yeah, so literally when the children are good and they're reading their books, they can have some vegan candies to go with it. And yeah, I mean, I really see this going everywhere, and I just think there's no limitations. So last year we actually did a hair care line as well with Afro hair candy. Their store was in Westfield. They have one in Central Shopping Centre in Croydon, and it's all vegan based hair products. So we had a limited edition hairline with them for a whole month of February last year, and it was amazing. We really sold out. We were there, we had like candies for the kids, we had cupcakes, we had, you know, refreshments, we had the mayors come down. And you know, it's really just about when you do a book, that like the little ripples that come from it. So yeah, I'm really happy with the book, how it's going now. So we have book number 3 coming out. I'm going to give you a little gist on book number 3. I really shouldn't, but book number 3 is about the heart of Africa. So basically the dad and the mum, it's their 10-year anniversary, and the dad has decided to give her the biggest diamond in the world. Now we all know the Queen, the late Queen, sorry, had the Star of Africa in her Trojan, and that is the biggest star in the world. So I mean, biggest diamond in the world. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to bring it back to us in Africa, and I'm going to get the heart of the world, which will be the diamond that the dad gives to the mum. So they literally go to Africa and they go through all the countries in Africa, and they end up in Egypt, and it's just such a beautiful story. And they meet up with all their families. I mean, it's a delightful story. The animations is amazing, and I would like to touch on the illustrations who drawed it. It was a gentleman called Shane Lewis, and he's doing great things. And without him, I mean, the book wouldn't come together. With his vision, Keisha's vision, and myself, I mean, it brings the powerfuls together. So I'm just happy to be a part of this project. And once again, I will tell you where you can get all of these, because they are in quite a few places. They're scattered around the UK, but the main place you can actually get the book right now is on Amazon, and in Fashion Meets Music in Central Shopping Centre in Croydon, and in Westfield, Stratford at Fashion Meets Music on the ground floor right next to Hugo Boss. And you know, one problem we have is we keep on selling out, like literally in all the bookstores. So we know that there's a demand for it, because you know we have it in Pansy, we have it in Crofton, we have it in Leytonstone. Like it's literally something that people want. They see it, they buy it. So I know that book number 3 is going to be a great success. And with all of you on this Zoom and who's watching it live, you know, we can just push this to the next level, because this book really does home in on, you know, Black excellency. And this is what I think the youth of today need to see. And even adults that read the book, they're just like, wow, where did you get all these ideas from? The illustrations are next to none. And I really can't wait for the animation to be out. And yeah, I don't know if I've gone over my time. I think I might have just a little bit. So I just want to say
no. You're not gone over your time. You've still got like another 7 minutes. 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Yeah.
Have I got 7 minutes? Okay,
No,
so
you
cool.
don't have to pull it all up, but it's up to you.
No, I'll take the whole 10. Do you say 10? No, I'm joking. No, so I'll literally just give you my Instagram as well. So I am Sabrina Spencer. My name is spelled S-E. My mom is, you know, she's one of them extra people. So S-A wasn't good enough. So S-E-B-R-I-N-A. 1 UK. So that's Sabrina 1 UK. That's my personal Instagram. I take messages. You can message me anytime, and you can actually go on the Powerful's Instagram to get all the names of all the shops that they're in. So it's The Powerful. So that's THEPOWERFULS. So Powerful's book, BOOK. So The Powerful Book. Yeah, and that's where you can get all the information. And yeah, we all run all the sites, so basically you can get hold of us at any time, and we're happy to do parties as well, where we can bring down some candies and get them sent out to anybody who's really want to home in on the vegan aspect of the book. But yeah, I mean, I really would like to say thank you for everyone who has supported us. I am Jamaican descent as well, so I'm from St. Elizabeth. I actually went to school in Jamaica as well. So I just want to touch that, you know, in Jamaica, there are a lot of mums and dads still together. I come to London and there's hardly any. So, you know, it's really good that this book shows unity in the Black community. So yeah, after that, I just want to say thank you and buy the book, tell a friend. The Powerful, the name says it all. It's a powerful book for powerful people. We are melanated, we are born rich, and this book really homes in on what we're all about.
Okay, thank you very much. So that is Sabrina Spencer, author of the children's series, The Powerfuls. Sabrina, please just mention again the title of the books, where the books can be purchased, just for those who are listening on radio as well.
Okay, so everybody on the radio, you need to go to Stratford, Westfield. Okay, and it's on the ground floor, and it's at Fashion Meets Music right next to Hugo Boss. You can get the book, and it's called The Powerfuls. So The Powerfuls that's it. It's a powerful family, and you can also buy the book on Amazon. Just put in The Powerfuls, Sebrina Spencer or Keisha Spencer, my delightful sister, you know, who's always there for me. And the illustrations are done by Shane Lewis. I just really want to home in on him because he does amazing work. And once again, if you go on to the Instagram, which is the Powerfuls Instagram, it's called The Powerfuls Book. That's it. The Powerfuls Book. One word, really easy, really sweet, straight and direct. And you can purchase the book from there, and it can tell you everywhere that you can purchase the book, or everything's listed with postcodes, really easy. And of course, if you have any problems whatsoever, go onto my Instagram, which is Sabrina 1 UK, SEBRINA 1 UK. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from you all.
Great. Please put your links in the Zoom chat as well. The book links are where it can be purchased. And if you want to share social media links or contact, just put them in the Zoom chat so people can know where to get the book by clicking on the link, or in case they want to contact you regarding the book.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for your time.
Great. I look forward to having you on the Black Book Show podcast as well. I'm just going to share my screen quickly. Right. Various of the authors that are featured on this show or featured on the Black Book Show on previous shows have featured on the Black Book Show podcast. which is where I interview a variety of authors that have written books on different topics. So this is the Black Book Show virtual book tour, where authors get a certain time and they deliver a speech for 15 minutes or 10 minutes. I also have the Black Books radio show and podcast. The radio show, I'm a radio presenter on Luton Urban Radio every other Monday. And also that is between 8 and 10 p.m. and on Galaxy Radio, Galaxy Afui, every other Saturday, that is between 6 and 8 p.m. Now, the authors that go onto my radio show, the interviews, they go onto the Black Book Show podcast. So if you go on blackbookshows.com, you will then see a range of different options. One of them is podcast interviews. So you'll see this section here, which has got podcast interviews. These are some of the authors that have been on my previous shows, such as Kalimphia Miller, Wayne Hines, and Didi Amechi. If you scroll right down to the bottom, there's a part here which says click this link to listen to other previous episodes. And then you can choose what episode you want to listen to. Sabrina Spencer, she will be on one of the Black Book Show. She'll be coming on the podcast very, very soon. Jennifer Hallal, who we had on earlier, she is on episode 9. So if you scroll down to episode 9, she spoke about her book, one of her books she spoke about earlier, which was called The Spice of Life. I interviewed her on the Black Books radio show and podcast about that book. So if you want to listen to Jennifer speak more in depth about her book, you can go and listen to that via the Black Book Show podcast. And if you would like to feature on the Black Book Show, the radio show podcast, or if you would like to feature on the virtual book tour, feel free to contact me. The contact form is here. If you go on the Black Book Show website, blackbookshows.com, select contact us, and then you can fill in your name, your email address, and leave a message. Whether you're an author who would like to feature on the show, a publisher, a bookseller, just drop me a line, and then we can discuss things further from there.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Joan Green. I'm based in London, Southeast to be exact. And I'm going to share my books with you this evening. Thank you. So. Sorry. So the books I'm sharing tonight, my 2 books are The Power of Working with Your Child and All You Need to Know About 11+. About the author, I'm Joan Green, an experienced teacher since 1988 to present. I'm married, I have 4 children, 3 grandchildren. The author of Amazon best-selling book, All You Need to Know About 11+, that has helped dozens of children to pass 11+ exams. I have now published my 2nd book, The Power of Working with Your Child, since March. And anything you want, my books, you can get it on my website, Brighter Tuition Online. All you need to know, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about the first book, All You Need to Know About 11+. Now, I was inspired during COVID period to write this book as a result of my anxious parents. My parents were so anxious. This book is a guide to help parents and children understand what the program of study entails and to stimulate their thought process. My parents at that time, they were so anxious. I'm like, what am I going to do with them to calm them down? And this just said everything that I've been telling them over the years, that's what I need to put together to let them understand the journey and what they need to do. In this book, you will learn the benefit of preparing for 11+ examination. One of the benefits is it's free, and all of our children should aim for it once they are able to and capable of. The subjects that are covered with relevant examples, how to adjust the mindset of both parents and children for success and more. And again, I just put my website there. The Power of Working with Your Child. I think this book, I think all parents should get this book. The Power of Working with Your Child is a manual aims at guiding parents on how to support their children, right? The support they can actually give to their children. This book is to support parents who sometimes find it challenging to engage with their children, especially when they refuse to do school homework. I've had lots of parents, because I'm a teacher, parent coming in, he doesn't want to do the homework, he doesn't want to do, I don't know what to do. Like, don't know what to do, all right. I need to really think of some ideas to help these parents and those children who are being defined and don't want to. Purpose, to help parents understand the impact of support. Support in any form is good. Once you're getting a good support, I think everybody in general feels good. So support, we can't do without support. To identify creative and stimulating ideas. Lots of parents might not think of ideas. So here I'm giving ideas of how to support your child. Just simple things that you can actually do to support your children at home. Not necessarily book and pencil only, but really use your pastors, do some craft work, find that little time to do some things with your children. Caters for children with special educational needs, not because I've got challenges, I need to be supported and I can do things, they can do things. So I've highlighted that in my book, to develop a strong bond and positive mindset. Now, I know the more you work with your child, the more you get closer to that child, especially when it's positive and they understand the boundaries, they understand everything with you. It's gonna be easy to work with them and getting them to actually do the homework. Once you have got that bond with your child, I believe it's easier to get them to do things. Develop the power of teamwork. And again, it's not just mommy doing it or just daddy alone, but both parents and even grandparents as well. So working as a team to make it work is so important. So you can get copies of my book on my website and on Amazon. And I would want to say I'm beginning to do events about my books. So this is the 11+ book. And this is the power of working with your child. I just want to say thank you. I'm gonna say a little bit more, but I'm just going with my slide. Thank you for your time. And I just want to share my affirmation. Before I share my affirmation, I just want to say a little bit about the power of working with your child. The power of working with your child, I believe parents really need to go and get this book. The power of working with your families. It helps you it guides you as to how do I work with my child? Because there are lots of children out there who refuse to do their homework. Parents find it difficult to really work with them. And what I'm saying, parents need to find that time to work with their children. Make a difference. Make a difference in your child's life. It is so important that you actually go out there and do it. It's not that you can't do it. Find that time. Find that time. You can take them to the museums that are free, because if you don't have it, there are free museums in London. And I know, I'm from Jamaica. I know that in Jamaica, there are places that you can take them that you don't have to pay. There are some places there. In America, the same. Everywhere there are places, the parks, go to the parks. Just sit and have fun with your children, and then roll them into doing some schoolwork as well. Encourage schoolwork, and it will become easier as we go along. So my affirmation, I will not allow my present circumstances to determine who I am as a person, as I have the innate ability to rise up. I'm just saying, parents, rise up, rise up. With the 11+ book, I think it's free. The benefit is it's free. You don't, the only bit of it is not free, it's the actual preparation. But if you start early, it will be less as well. And it is free. Children benefit from doing this because the curriculum is much more than what the national curriculum. much more what they do for SATs. So I think it's a good thing to really encourage our Black children to go for it as well. I think they really need to go for it, especially in our country here, London, England. They just need to go for it, as long as they can do it. Because I believe also that if your child is at a particular level, don't force them into doing it when they're going to struggle. But if you think, oh, my child can do this, yes, my child can do it, it's free, go for it. So you can actually find my book again on Amazon and on my website, Brighter Tuition Online. And I'm looking forward to see people really going out there and buying these books, because it's a decision that you'll never, ever regret doing. So again, thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Thank you for my brothers and sisters who are online here now sharing. The books that we're sharing, they're just fantastic. So well done to all of us. And I'm looking forward to see parents and all across, particularly for, The Power of Working with Your Child. It's an international book. It's not just for England, it's for everybody. And it's also, I just want to mention, it's also highlighted the autistic children, if you're dyslexic, if you're ADHD. So just go and get this book. You will enjoy the read, and you can read this off. As I said, it's a guide, so you can read this in 1 hour. It's not a long thing. You can just, and every time you get stuck, you can just say, you know what? I remember reading this. Oh, what can I do with my child? What resources are there? What support can I get? What support I can give my child? This answer it all. So again, just go for it, parents. Looking forward for parents going out there, getting these books online. Now, just want to say thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Joan Green. Do you have any final comments, or have you finished, come to conclusion?
I think I've come to a conclusion. Go out there, get this book.
Thank you. Please as well, leave the...
Can you see me?
Just hold it up a bit.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All you need to know, 11 plus. All you need to know about 11 plus.
And the next book is The Power of Working with Your Child. Get this book. It's new. It's just published in March. Go and get this book, and you will never regret getting this book. You're like, wow, this is a little Bible. I should walk with it.
Right, let me introduce the next author now. The next author is Dee Buchanan. So Dee, if you would please like to come on the show, please start by telling us where you're based, give a brief introduction, and then tell us all about the book you've written.
Thank you, Makonnen, and thank you for everyone for being able to share this platform with all these authors. My name is Dee Buchanan. I'm from London, and I'm here to talk about my book, Messages from the Divine Mother. It's a book that I actually did not plan to write. It came about, through just various friends and colleagues asking me about what am I going to write, etc. But first, I just want to, say that I remember about a year ago, I came on this platform, not as an author, but just to gain confidence and inspiration. And it just seems so interesting that I'm now here sharing my book with others and having the platform with other authors as well. So I'm really, chuffed about that. I'm also, want to talk about the book being a spiritual book. It's a selection of spiritual conversations for women because it's about inspiring, it's about uplifting, it's about empowering, and it's about women, self-discovery, and learning once again about ourselves. I say once again, because within the society and the world we live in, we sometimes forget. And so I just want to express that this goes beyond religion, because a lot of the time people ask me if this is a religious book. It goes beyond religion because it's about your own self-discovery. It's about you highlighting, to help you connect with your authentic self. So how did this book come about? Well, the book came about through almost 25 years of journaling. And I used to journal every morning and, not think anything about it. Years and years and years of journals, of books, just piled up there. Until one day somebody said to me, well, what are you doing with them? And I said, well, I don't think anybody would want to read them. And that, my colleague said, well, you don't know. Why don't you put it into a book? And so as I started writing it, I realized that this book has to be shared. It has to be shared with other women, because although I am the author who wrote down the words came to me as something that was, that was special, that was given to me to inspire me, to enlighten me. And even though I'm writing it, I'm actually feeling the power of the words while I'm writing it. So I just thought what I'd do is read the introduction of my book to give you a bit more ideas of how this book came about and what do I mean by messages from the Divine Mother. So I'm going to read my introduction. And it's, okay, let me start. So I'm sitting by the window. The night has just drawn in. It's almost dark. The grey shadows dance with the light. I'm on the floor, eagerly excited to read the book I just purchased, recommended by my dear friend Lester Lewis, Tapping the Power Within by Anne Van Zandt. I'm excited and fully immersed in the first couple of pages. It was like the book was about me and my struggles in life and the challenges I've had in recognizing who I am. The book spoke about the divinity within me, and I wished I could only just reconcile this within myself. And then these words hit me. You should understand that an African descendant, spirit and spirituality are the wholesome element of your basic nature. You are not replacing or undermining God in developing your spirit. You are trying to make contact with the powerful forces that with the powerful force that is God within you. What you are seeking and searching for has always been with you. My soul opened up to a new thought, new ways of being, and all of a sudden it came like a bolt in my spirit. I knew it to be true. I knew that the real me had been hidden away in fear of not being accepted, not loved because I was different. I was afraid to be different. I was afraid that I was not okay to be me. And in that lightning bolt, I knew that God loved me and accepted me for who I am because I was created in divinity and love. You see, I convinced myself that it was not okay to be me. I always felt different, but throughout my difference was not to be acknowledged. I felt things that others did not feel and saw things that others did not see. I needed to have permission for something or someone outside of myself. I now realize that this was me. This was the real me. So I just want to jump ahead to how it's all started. So as I lay on my bed, a voice kept repeating, excuse me one moment, a voice kept repeating to me in the words, life within, life within. I could not get the words out of my head. So I jumped off the bed and grabbed a pen and a paper and began to write. Then the first verse came, live from within thy heart. Then the second verse came, for within thy heart, thy soul takes part. I was not in control of what I was writing. It was as if something or someone else was taking me to telling me what to write. So I wrote what was coming through without question. I wrote without thought. I just wrote what came to me. Hence, my first spiritual poem was born. So soon after, I began journaling. And after attending a workshop, I began to write every morning. I did this for a while and began to write about how I was feeling. And over time, my journaling took me to a different level. I began every morning by writing to the Divine Mother. One morning, I began to write. I heard the voice talking directly to me. My dear daughter, was how it started. I had no control over what I was writing. I wrote what I heard. And whenever I was feeling that day, and whatever I was feeling that day, and whatever question I posed, I was given an answer. Guidance, love, empathy, blessings, and a lot more came out on the page. Day after day, this is how I received my messages. And this is how the messages from the Divine Mother book came about. It's no ordinary book. The book is written, so it's not a book where you read from page to page. It actually has messages, which sometimes are only short sentences, short, about 4 lines, but the messages are very powerful. And the messages actually give sometimes the actual message that you need. I'm going to read one of the messages here. And this comes from the chapter, To Thyself Be True. You cannot control life. Life is as free as a bird. You just live and let the world around you do the same. You can't control what happens. It's not your concern. Your concern is you. And then at the bottom of the page, there's always an affirmation. And this affirmation is, the choice is always yours to make. So the book actually consists of 15 chapters, covering all common topics of life. We have topics such as love, darkness and light, faith and trust, soul purpose, fear, forgiveness. These are the kind of themes that a lot of us go through in life. And these are a lot of the messages that I think really supports one's inner being in understanding, who they really are. And it's personal to you. And at each page, as I said, you don't need to actually, read from one page to the next. You can actually just open the book and you'll find a message. 9 times out of 10, you'll find a message that resonates with you. And this is what I think is so powerful to heal and to support, others. I think for me, one of the things that I hadn't planned to write this book, but I now know that I needed to write this book because of the message that was contained in it. And so I just want to say that, I just want this book to serve as an inspiration and as a constant guidance for readers. Because I think that, for me, there's magic in this book. And I often, when I'm out and about, I often open the book at a page for someone, and usually the messages is directly to what they need. So I'll say it again, this book is Messages from the Divine Mother. You can actually get it in Amazon, but it's actually available in most bookstores. There's a soft pack and a hardback, and it's also available on audio, not audio, sorry, on Kindle. So for me, I'm so happy to share this with you, and I'm so happy to be able to share this with other people. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your attention and the opportunity to share my book. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dee. Can you just mention one more time the title of the book and where the book can be purchased from?
Yeah, so the title of the book is Messages from the Divine Mother, a selection of spiritual conversations for women. It's sold in Amazon and major bookstores, or you can also email me and for a signed copy, and I can send that to you through my website or my email.
Right, I'm going to go on to the next speaker. The next speaker is Juliyah Brown. So, Juliyah, if you would just like to come on, please can you start by telling us where you're based and give a brief introduction about yourself, and then tell us all about the book you've written.
So, greetings, everyone. Good day, good afternoon, good morning, depending where you're hearing me from. I'm based in London, and I've just got a brief slideshow to explain to you a little bit about my creation. The creation, actually, I gave birth, it took me 9 months to give birth to her, and I'm hoping that this book will be something that inspires and motivates individuals. So without further ado, let me share my screen with yourselves. So, it's all about a journey into self-discovery. So I am Juliyah Brown, and I'll explain to you briefly about who I am and what I do. I've created a toolkit called Crushed to Sparkle, how to positively build yourself up from a broken relationship. But don't be fooled by it saying a broken relationship doesn't necessarily mean your partner. The key thing is, what is the relationship that you have with yourself? So my objective is to enable you through the nurturing and nourishing way to help you to move your life forward. So who am I? Well, I've got over 20 years experience in the public-private voluntary sector. I am an author, which I'll explain a little bit more about my work, and just a little bit about other initiatives that I've taken ownership over. But this isn't about me, this is more about you. But it's important that I set the scene as to who's speaking at this moment. I've also been trained in a number of disciplines, and the whole objective of me sharing this with you is to say that when I deliver my courses, my coaching, and my consultancy, I embed these transferable skills in order to look to meet the person at their place of need and to move them forward in their lives. What is Crush to Sparkle really all about? Well, it's a holistic healing. It's a toolkit that's really going to be looking at a 360 degree at yourself. You're going to do your own self-discovery and your own self-auditing. You're going to go on your own personal journey, and you can go as fast or as slow as you wish. The journey and the time frame is dictated by you. Whilst you're going on this journey, you're actually going to be encouraged to do some journaling. So inside of Crush to Sparkle, there's lots of activities for you to do. And the whole point is, it will become very self-explanatory very shortly. So you go on your journey, you journal as you go on your journey, and you're going to be meeting your past self, your present self, and the future version of yourself within this toolkit. The reason why it's created as a toolkit is because it's a self-help manual. It literally is a course within itself. Inside here, you've got motivational, inspirational quotes. You've got a number of affirmations. At the beginning of each chapter, there's affirmations, and at the end of each chapter, just as well as having a lot of motivational quotes from the good and the greats. I've put a lot of melanated, rich quotes in there, your Marcus Garvey, your Muhammad Ali, your Malcolm X's. Because why not? It's my book, so I really wanted to bring more life to these great people. You're going to have a number of different exercises in there to do. Now, the whole point of these exercises is for you to dig deep into the wonderful person that you truly, really are. One of the exercises that I ask you to do is to look in the mirror. Now, for some people to look in the mirror, they may be happy with who they see, or they may be dissatisfied with who they see. And with this mirror work, I actually ask people, whose voice are you hearing when you actually look at yourself in the mirror? Now, it could be your own voice, but is your voice helping you, or is it hurting you? That is the question. Is it being critical, or is it going to be very supportive and nourishing? If it's not your voice you hear when you look at yourself in the mirror, then is it people's perception of you that you hear when you see yourself in the mirror? And if it's not people's perception of you, is it somebody who's possibly dead and gone, but every time you look in the mirror, you hear their voice very strong talking about you in the mirror? And that's just really one of the many different exercises in there. You've also got food diary, sleep diary, exercise diaries in there. We look at taboo issues as well, things like addiction, abortion, loss of a child, not necessarily through abortion, the reasons why things are happening and what you think you should be doing to make a difference. I'm there to support you. The answers that you seek are within. It's just about a matter of uncovering and rediscovering the diamonds that are within you. As you see, everything you need is within, and I'm looking to put that diamond back in your hands so that you can shine brightly on the inside and on the outside. Also, I've put a party in there. Now, a lot of people are very surprised with this whole concept of a party, but the way how Crush the Sparkle is actually written, you do a number of activities, and then there's going to come to a point inside the book where actually I say to you, let's take a break. But before I even say, let's take a break, the way how it's actually designed is very conversational. So the way how I'm speaking now is exactly how it's written in the book. So you do not actually feel alone as you go through the chapters. The key thing here is the way how it's designed is some of the things might be very sensitive. And I actually write, do you need a tissue? Can I give you a hug? Do you need a glass of water? Do you want to take a break now? I'll be here when you come back. So the way I'm speaking is exactly how it's written. And a lot of people say that they hear me when they read the book. Party time, as I was mentioning, because you've done a set amount of work, i.e. you've completed your food diary, your sleep diary, your 25-year plan. You've also then completed your exercise diaries as well as many other things. I've given you 140 of my favorite tracks. They don't have to be yours. But then I tell you what you should be doing with these tracks, to look at the music that you like in a different way, to look at the lyrics that go with the song in a different way. So I then ask you to literally go into your wardrobe, take out your finest clothes, your finest accessories. I also ask you to play your favorite tracks, and I ask you then to have your own private party where you are your own supermodel. Because you've done so much work, let's have a party. After we've had the party, we then get back to work. So there's many other things that we cover. Facing procrastination. We're also about letting go. There's a chapter in there for carers, because I'm a carer, so I've dedicated a whole chapter to carers to say, I see you, I hear you, I feel you. So that's what I do in there. There's also some VIP prayers in there as well. It's not a religious book, but the key thing is to say whatever your faith walk, the key principle is love. So this is a love book to yourself. How is it to yourself? Because at the end of the day, you're the content creator. So my objective behind this book is to help you to address blocks in your life. You then dig deep within yourself to find your own personal answers. Because everything is customized and personalized and designed by you, to you, from you, this book is totally unique for every reader. So once you've filled in all the blank spaces inside, you hold in your hand a piece of your own life, because you are the content creator. So a key warning here is that it's about going deep. It's not about being very superficial. And it's also about looking at your different perspectives on life. And more importantly, it's a process, it's a system. So if you're willing to put input to look at yourself, to process things about yourself, then the outcome is going to be improving all the time. So basically, this is a Boolean expression used in computer terminology. But in a nutshell, it's just simply saying that if you put something in, you can process it, and then something's going to come out. Nothing in, nothing to process, nothing comes out. So there's no point even complaining that your life is not changing or things are not getting better if you're not going to do anything about it. But if you decide you're going to do something, then you've got something to process, and then the output will be different. So really what I encourage people is not wait to the end of their life to start taking action, because complacency is like a cancer of time. You can't get back time once time is gone. So take action today, because tomorrow may just be too late. So the dash, making it count, simply means when you look on a birthstone, sorry, on a tombstone, you actually see the day the person was born, a dash, and the day the person died. That dash equates to your life. So do make your dash count. And that's what Crush the Sparkle is doing. It's looking about you, enriching your life, motivating you to take action if you are ready and willing and able to do so. So really, this is some basic information about me, but I'm going to leave that on the screen for just one moment, because I really want to tell you why you should read this book and how it will help you. So it says, Your Journey to an Extraordinary Life. This is no ordinary book, just as you are no ordinary person. This book has the secret to create an extraordinary life for you, if you are open to change your way of thinking and doing things. It will require you to extend your thinking beyond your physical being into connecting with your spiritual being, one that radiates with divine energy. Therefore, if you are ready to apply and implement what is being shared, this self-discovery healing toolkit, it will become a journey where you will meet your future self now. As a result, your future self will thank you for it. This book will transform your life only if you are willing and open to change. Listen, please do not take my word for it. Read this book for yourself and leave skepticism, criticism, and doubt out for 21 days, okay? Detox your mind of negative thoughts, flush them out immediately, and allow good, wholesome, positive thoughts to fill that empty space, which is now a clear space to bathe, clean, and clear your mind, body, and soul. After all, your mind is fertile, so do not let others' dirty feet tamper, trample, or stamp on your beautiful mind. Please work on creating and sustaining a positive mindset. Be aggressive to live in the positive zone. Remove yourself from dream stealers, dream catchers, criticizers, naysayers. Remove yourself from those who only doubt everything and anything you do. Detox and declutter, my dear friend. You need to detox, you need to declutter. You need to question who and what is surrounding you. Take an honest look at your home, family, friends, work colleagues, business associates, places of worship and fellowship. Please answer this question. Who is there for you in both the good and the bad times? It's time to cut yourself off from things and people, as time waits for no one. If these people are not helping or nourishing you, then spend less time with them, or choose to no longer interact or engage in their presence, as you are a present, a gift, a beautiful gift to the world. You truly are. Maybe, just maybe, if you took time seriously, you would not be wasting it on meaningless things that do not add value to your life. Such activities are relentless distractions that will rob your lifetime away, improving the quality of your life. So now let us look at how you can improve the quality of your life right here, right now. It all begins with a new way of thinking. Remember, what you focus on intensifies, expands, and magnifies. So I ask you to think positively as often as you can, and as you do want good things to manifest in your life, don't you? Change your thinking and change your life through this journal of self-discovery. You will move from stagnation to transformation. So turn the page slowly and let us begin exploring the wonderful story of you. Please make it a habit now to replace worry, anxiety, and other negative thoughts with empowering, uplifting, and nourishing and positive thoughts to move your life forwards and upwards. Please be informed that most of these negative thoughts may never ever happen, yet they have robbed you of years of your life already. Stop wasting your time. Stop being a prisoner trapped in the past by passing the present and wishing for a better future. Really, come on, wake up. You are alive now. Live now. The past has gone. This is your moment. This is your time. Be present. Command your presence. Be fully in the present time zone, as the decisions you make or not will determine your tomorrows. Sorry, I just had to preach, teach, reach, and connect with you. Look, somehow one day you have to wake up out of your slumber, get energized, wakey, wakey, rise up, get up, stand up, stay up, move up, and don't give up the good fight of being the best version of yourself. Okay, I said, please replace anxiety and worry with joy and happiness. Happiness is a habit, and you have to train yourself to be happy. So if you're tired of feeling powerless, being overwhelmed, if your life is in limbo and you have low energy, if you feel strained, drained, used, abused, misused, heavily burdened, constantly having bad luck, or maybe being spiritually attacked, or if you feel emotionally weak or in severe debt, voiceless, invisible, shunned, ostracized, or if you feel you're being pushed over the edge, know that you are not alone. This self-discovery toolkit, journal, is for you. It is meant to help you to be the good, better, best version of yourself if you choose to act now, in this moment. I'd love to work with you. I would like to work through your emotional situation to help you to heal. However, you have to choose to be open-minded. Release and relax your heart, mind, body, and spirit. You need to decide to commit to becoming self-disciplined, to take full responsibility, full accountability, full ownership of who you become from this point onwards. Warning, this book will be fun, it will be fair, and it will be firm. It will be highly focused and solutions orientated. However, it's up to you as to the extent and the impact you actually, it's up to you to the extent and the impact of your actual outcomes. So basically what I'm saying is that with Crush the Sparkle, the whole objective here is basically to say that you no longer need to suffer in silence. You no longer need to feel that you're invisible. You no longer need to feel that you're not being heard. Now you have a real opportunity to change your thinking and to change your life. Because this book was personally written for each and every one of you who's in a situation where you've been crying out for help. I heard your cry for help, and I have become your new family friend and a new trusted friend. I came because you called. I heard your voice. What you are holding in your hands right now is an invaluable tool. It is designed to change and transform your life from broken relationships to building positive ones, starting with yourself. It's a highly interactive toolkit. It's a highly self-discovery toolkit to help you on your journey whilst you journal. This is your new dawn. This is your new birth of life to help you to become a better version of yourself. There's no theory in here. It's all practical suggestions and applications if you choose to use it, purposefully engaging and helping to guide you. It's there to empower you and to support you, for you are truly an enlightened warrior, king and queen. So that's just a small extract from Crush the Sparkle. The whole objective is to help you to look at your blocks. It's intergenerational. It's not sexually orientated, so men, women can utilize this toolkit. At the end of the day, you put your answers in, so this makes it personal to you as the reader. So that's what I'd just love to share, because I'm not sure if there was a moment to share something else, but if not, the key thing is this. You've got some beautiful diamonds inside of you. It's time for you now to start making those diamonds shine. Start taking them out, hold them in your hand, and let the world know that you're here for a mission with a strong vision in order to make some positive changes. So my details are on screen here. Please go to my website, which is crushthesparkle.com. You can find me on social media platforms. Just write Juliyah, spelled differently with a Y, Juliyah_Brown, and you'll find me on social media platforms as well. But feel free to email me as well. Anybody who, you can buy this book off Amazon, and you can also get it through me, and I will also give you a signed copy with a very personalized message and a beautiful gift to go with it as well, just to say thank you and to encourage you on your journey going forward. The key thing is really just to highlight what has happened has happened. That's your past. I'm working with you to draw a line in the sand and to say, let's just take one step forward. One step, one thing, one each day. If you do that, you'll have 365 new steps by the end of the year, and you would have moved from where you are today. So I'm not into quantum leaps. I'm all about just taking that one step, and each day you just keep on moving gradually at your own pace, at your own stage. But transformation is only going to happen if you choose to take action. So if you're not going to take any action, then don't complain, stop complaining. But if you are choosing to take action, forget the complaining and just get on with the work that needs to be done, because time is a precious commodity. We have no idea how long we actually have. I've had a number of bereavements very recently. So to me, life is even much more important than it's ever been before. So I'm encouraging people, please take action. You've got a number of powerful authors on the platform today. Please do look into their works. Please look to Care to Share. We talk about unity, so let's make it happen in the community. So at the end of the day, one hand can't clap, but collectively we can make a world of difference and start making some powerful changes that are going to be sustainable. It's not about quick fixes, it's about sustainability, longevity, and creating legacies and passing the baton to the next generation. And Crush to Sparkle is intergenerational. It can be used in schools, colleges, workplaces, team building as well. So it is a very transferable toolkit that you hold in your hand. And I thank you for this opportunity, and I thank you for listening. And I wish you all the very best that life has to offer. So dig deep and appreciate the wonderful person that each and every one of you is. In actual fact, you are all VIPs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I must thank everybody. It's very much an honor to be part of this group with so many great authors. It's wonderful. It's inspiring, especially as I am not really an author. I've come from from the multimedia artist kind of angle. My name is Edi Jay Mandala in full, and I call myself an artivist because I've dedicated myself, my artwork, all to anti-racism, and I've been doing this for the last 7 years. And my book, which is not yet to come out, but will be coming out, it's called 99 Bigots, and it's a Black anti-bigotry lexicon of empowerment. And that is, it's a book of words, descriptive words, names, and they're there to help people of the global majority. Maybe I should tell you how I came by this. I started in 2016, actually, and it was in response to things that were happening like Black Lives Matter, Brexit, Grenfell, and the Windrush scandal, which I've got a personal investment in that my father came over on the actual boat. And I've also, there's other inspirations. It's not just that. It's not about the fact that he came over as an illiterate man who didn't know about the country that he was visiting. It's about the illiteracy that's happening now amongst the young people. A couple of years ago, 2 young boys in my milieu got involved in a fight. One killed the other, stabbed him to death. And it was an argument. It was an argument they had, 2 Black mixed parentage kids, young men. They had an argument about diversity. And it really opened my eyes to what is happening. is that we don't have a language for each other, for what is happening to us. And that's how it really started. These stories are coming along, confirmations that, yes, we're in a white supremacist society, and it's not there to give us help in healing the intergenerational racial trauma that we've experienced. It's something we have to create for ourselves as people of the Black diaspora. So I've set out in doing that. And so I started researching and developing and using my own body in the way of finding out, doing research on the forensic evidence that is there for bigots and the strategies that we could develop to heal ourselves, but also to heal our homes, to heal the intergenerational, and to create dialogue, healing dialogue, collaborations, things like that. So I didn't just start off by myself. I had support. I had a network of support from, I might tell you first of all that I am an art therapist by qualification. I've been doing that for about 30 years in community development. And I've worked in social services, housing, with police, anti-domestic violence as a trainer. And so I've got 30 years of experience, but I've also got the backup of experts, mentors who've helped me keep on the straight and narrow as I continue on this path of doing the research. And the evidence has come out in a way of these words, these key words, which are there specifically for people of color, people of difference, and the people of global majority, the people who are affected by racist institutions, and the people who are victims of it. The people who come to this country and they don't know about the hostile environment that is going to engulf them, and but also to give them the tools. A theme that I've noticed, listening to all the other authors, is about tools, it's about dignity, it's about keeping our history, keeping stories, creating language, helping us find ways of negotiating our ways through the academic process, and stopping the things that prevent us from growing. So this is how the project came about. The book comes out in the form of cartouches, and I'll give you an example here. It's a poster here. There's words going around the side of the border, and this is my promise as an artivist to the viewers of this word, that it's genuine, it's untainted by racist contamination. And it's also satirical. The information you'll get will be satirical. It's not there to be used to curse, to condemn, or to put down anybody. It's there as a guide. It's there as a way that we can find a way of communicating with each other, finding the words, because there aren't any words which are adequate for our experiences, because the dictionaries we will use were developed by white supremacists. We have to create new words, new references, new ways of communicating, making bridges. And that's what this is about. So I will, it's called a cartouche because it comes from the Egyptian, where they'd have the name of the king or queen, and they'd have their symbols which represent them. And so this is a multimedia process, because at the bottom here, you will see there's a QR code, which will take you to a YouTube channel. So you can hear the recording of this lexicon word. And often it will be accompanied with animation, songs, and poetry. And that's what is happening with these things. Now, the goal, am I doing okay with time, Makonnen? Because I don't let you down. I don't know.
No, you're fine.
Yeah?
You're fine.
Yeah, how much time have we got? Are we okay with this? Yeah? Okay, because this new thing is all new to me, and I'm really glad for this learning process. Thank you, everybody, for this help. So how do we, how would we use it? I also must say that the system, the collaboration of mentors has helped me to keep healthy and safe during this whole process. It's enabled us together, because together we provide about 400 years of experience of working in multi-agencies, all of them racist institutions. And these words aren't just things that have just been dreamt up, they're worked through and they're discussed and we've arrived at them. But this is still an open process. I'm inviting artists, poets, to use these words freely. These words aren't there, I'm not going to be claiming them, they're out there for people to use in the community to address their situations. Now I'll give an example, just to change it so you don't have to hear my voice all the time. I'll give an example of what I do. First of all, I'll go to which one, Black Joy, and share that with you. How I'll do that now. Yeah, can you see that? Can you see that okay? Here you have the promise from me.
No, you trying to share screen? I can't see anything.
Yeah, you can't see it.
No.
Okay, try again. Okay, go to Zoom. Sorry, I'm trying to work this out. Yeah, I've got it open, and now it's going. How's that? Is that okay? Can you see that now?
Yeah, it's starting. Yeah. I can see it.
Wow, yeah. Okay, so this is the first cartouche. It's called Black Joy. And as you see here, the next thing it says is no bigots have been harmed in the making of this artwork. And that is, it's a kind of a way of lightening the load of this, of reading the actual information that's on there. And here is the QR code at the bottom. There's my sign, the sign for Black Muse, which is the sign of my company. Well, not company, it's my project, the art therapy project. And if I may say, if you went to the list, there you'd hear Black Joy said to you with probably some sound in the background. So this is not just for people who can read, it's for people who would prefer to listen to audios as well. Okay. Okay, so have I lost myself here? You can still, I can't see myself, but I hope you can still see me. Here's another example. This one is, just see if this has come through.
You're not sharing screen now.
Is that that's not come through? No.
No, it's gone back. It's back onto like a picture of well, it's not even showing a picture of yourself. It's just showing your name on display.
I see. Okay. Yeah, share screen. Well, yeah, here it is. Learning of this new.
Yeah, we see it now.
Example. Yeah, you can see example. This one is a recent one. And this one is Imi Bigots. And this one is precisely about people who come to England as immigrants and adopt the phrases and the attitudes and eventually start to vote against the immigrants. And these are called Imi Bigots. And this is one way of identifying the kind of people that are around inside in bigotry, the kind of bigots you will find who are claiming to be your friends or colleagues or their managers. So this is called a dog-loving bigot. Dog-loving bigots, aka crufty bigots, herds, impacts, pudemic, are generally known to be friendly people of the kind that would consider themselves democracy-loving, upholding equality's values, based upon liberty and freedom, who would therefore feel insulted to be called a racist, Yet their attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors towards pets exposes a deep hole in their subconsciousness, which seems to be the size and shape of the black triangle. They value the intimate companionships that they enjoy with their pets above all the other relationships they encounter socially, including members of their own family, and habitually demonstrate this humanitarian compassion to the world by anthropomorphizing and commoditizing animals according to the delusional preconceptions of tastes related to fashion seasons, often validating themselves by declaring that dogs are better than humankind. This hole in subconsciousness can primarily be rooted in archaic mindsets, originally founded in the antebellum glory days of slave owners, who exercised total godlike domination upon their property and subjects, demonstrating complete and unaccountable power, control, and choice over every aspect of another sentient being's existence, such as whether or not, when, where, how it is permitted to eat, sleep, parent, and speak, like the slaves of the antebellum days, breeding mixes of exotic stock according to the requirements of the auction block plantation, an intoxicating obsession that ultimately compromises humanitarian capacities. So this is something which might be useful to somebody who sees some dog-loving bigot. I'll do another one here, which is more kind of satirical, which is white looks. It's a Black Muse term. We have different eyes, different ways of being looked at. And there's one which has a Black Muse term. It is, for instance, there's a masturbator. You don't know me, but I know your name and all about you because you remain a minority within my small corner of the world. With this confident, unwavering gaze I sprinkle upon you comes a gift from my priority. Do you know your place? And I will report to my boss with retorts like, this one is intelligent, got a chip on their shoulder, and so forth. Then we have another one here, a Black Muse term as yet unidentified, but is certainly felt. Speak of the devil, look what just walked in. It's these terms which you'll be hearing terms, things that you might hear around you when you're in racist institutions, which you might not pick up on unless you had a word that describes it, like the word chauvinist. In the way back in the day when we had men, well, we still do, but we have men who are very abusive to women and misogynistic. There was a term which came about which rang bells, red flags, when you knew that somebody was a chauvinist, or when someone talked to somebody as a chauvinist, you were able to think, right, if this is so, I'll be able to do something else. I'll avoid this person. I will do some other option. It's a practical toolkit, which is, it comes in this format because in the Black Caribbean, we are used to using image and text in our artwork. If you find that most artists will actually be using image and text together, combining them. And it speaks to our experiences as people, as survivors of racist institutions. So there's also other terms which are, for instance, this one, bigotosphere, which is the overarching cloud of systemic racism that causes tremendous moral turpitude and economic suffering that devastates countries as a culture cancer when the seeds of hatred are structurally regenerated to negatively affect all areas of everyday life. What this means is that when you've gone into a room or a space and you feel unwelcome, you can say it's a bigotosphere. You can say that I went in to visit this head teacher or this person and I felt bigot triggers. Bigot triggers is another one which says what happens to our bodies when we experience certain things. This bigot trigger was a very important word for me because I was able to recognize when something was happening to my body. We forget that if you've been living in racist institutions in society for all your life, it goes into your body. It plays a part in your body and also in the people around you. And the word bigot trigger enables you to stop your mind and say, wait a minute, how is this affecting me? Where is it going? Where is it happening inside me? And what is my heart rate? What is happening? Am I sleeping well? These kind of things, which enable you to monitor what is happening to you. It raises awareness. And what the first thing we need to do, if we want to imagine a world which does not have systemic racism in it, we have to be able to have languages which enable us to communicate with each other to create this world without limitations. Because we are educated in a system which limits us. It limits our capacity to communicate with each other creatively. And this is a creative problem we're living in. We're not going to have a software which is going to cause this our problems with racism to go away. It's something that's created by the majority of us. One of my characters in the stories, because there are 5 books in this, along with 99 Bigots. One is a children's book, and one of the ones is about mentors. And that one in the mentor, it talks about, one of the characters says, we outnumber the people, the white supremacists, 10 to 1. So if we all did 1% anti-racism, it would finish. But we might end up recreating the world that they did if we use their language. So this is very important. And I'm inviting artists, lexicon of goods, people who use words as a living, people who want to be anti-racist allies. I'm inviting them to come on board. I'm inviting them to be part of this process. Start now. And it's one thing that's helped me keep healthy, keep happy, keep stimulated, is knowing that I'm doing something which is addressing the inequalities that are happening around us. If it's just one small part is to change our perception. So we're able to transform the negative experiences into positive ones, or if not that, at least things that do not turn backwards into our families and our loved ones. It's a very important process. And I'll give you, how are we doing for time? Can I give you one example?
No. We need to kind of wrap it up now.
Well,
but
thank
please
you.
put your the link to the blog
Yeah.
in the chat so people can go on it if they wish to. Put that in the Zoom chat. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And
Okay.
Thanks so much to everybody. I'm getting better at this, I hope. And thanks so much.
Edi Jay
time.
Mandala, Edi Jay, the artivist. Thank you very much. And I enjoyed our radio show podcast interview we had recently as well. Right, let me go on to the next author speaker. The next author is Sandra Smith. So Sandra Smith, I'd like to welcome you onto the Black Book Show. Well, this is this evening in the UK. It's not obviously where you are in Jamaica, I believe it's afternoon. But Sandra Smith, greetings, and please start by well, I've already said where you're based, introducing yourself, and then tell us all about the book you've written.
Greetings and thank you, and that's a thank you to all of the authors that have spoken before me, those that will be speaking after me and in the future. So I will, as you mentioned, start in that reverse order because I am in Jamaica. It is 31 degrees. It's beautiful outside, but it's not always been like that. So I'll start with the good evening, good night, good morning, because individuals, your listeners may be listening to a replay. To all the Black Book Show listeners, Auntie Jean's African Cultural Market listeners, brothers and sisters, anybody that's listening, greetings. So I'm actually glad and I'm honored to be here. And just to literally have the opportunity to present this book, my book, And let me just see if I can bring it up as a shared screen. Share screen. So this is the book. It is an anthology, and it's an anthology
Sandra,
with...
just letting you know. Oh no, we can see the screen now. We couldn't at first, but we can see it now. So go on, continue.
Yeah. So it's an anthology with Les Brown. He's a renowned author, speaker, television and radio personality, and James McNeill, the author of Pure Spiritual Intelligence, the founder of the Dream Life community. And I've teamed up with 11 other amazing authors to bring this book, which became an Amazon best-selling book, It's My Time. Reclaim your dreams and master your health, wealth, and freedom. So the question is, why? Why me? As I said, I'm living in Jamaica, but I haven't always lived in Jamaica. I lived in the UK, grew up in South London, worked in the civil service for a number of years. But part of, and one of the previous authors has spoken about the dash, and we all have a dash. So part of my dash ensures then that I've become the expert in the chapter that I wrote within that anthology on coercive control, survival guide. Recognize and surviving abuse that's not physical. So I'm dedicated to working with others to amplify the mindset, the personal power, and to have that drive to take action. So my pages contain my raw and vulnerable story alongside some questions which can be used by the reader to recognize the behavior, listen, so that I listen, you listen, the reader listens to their internal red flags and unlock secrets that allow them to realize their past is their preparation for an amazing and brighter future. So the book itself, it will be a comprehensive resource designed to empower the reader or the individual. And when I say individual, we often have friends who may be going through this by way of the relationship that they are in. Or they may have experienced coercive control. So if you know someone who has gone through a coercive controlling relationship, you're going through it, I can provide the information, I can provide tools, I can provide support if needed, so that you can break free. So in the next minutes that I've been given the opportunity to speak here, I'm going to provide an overview of my chapter. I'm going to provide the key themes and the valuable lessons it offers to survivors. So I'm going to ask you to journey along with me, to embark on this journey towards liberating and empowerment together. So when I speak about coercive control, to be fair, I didn't understand what it meant. I thought it could never, ever happen to someone like me. So within this book, I talk about where I was starting, what was my mindset, and how in it happening to me, how that mindset changed, how I felt alone, I felt ashamed. I was during that time, a frog in slow boiling water. And I didn't know anything in terms of, when I think abuse, I'm thinking physical abuse, abuse that you can see, someone come and they've got a bruise on their eye or something like that. I'm not thinking about coercive control, which is more a mental abuse. So there is a definition that the Home Office have presented, and they've used it because it's on the statute books in the UK. So I recognize many of our brothers and sisters, individuals that are listening here, may not necessarily be in the UK. So they're talking about it. And in some spaces and some countries, they're not even talking at all. So I will say that coercive control is a pattern of manipulation, behavior used to dominate and control another person. So it's often seen in abusive relationships, but it's not always the first thing we see because it's manipulative. And because it's around the behavior, which is often more in the mind rather than the physical force. So by highlighting the various forms such as isolation, intimidation, financial control, and emotional abuse, readers get a deeper understanding of this insidious form of abuse. So within my chapter, I discuss the red flags. Now, all of us here listening today will have a gut feeling about certain things. It may be a food, it may be going to somewhere, it may be doing something, but we all have gut feelings. The question is, do we actually pay attention to them? And during this period of my life, all of the gut feelings, all red flags, I ignored. And some of them were slap bang in the front of my face. But what I chose to do, because I was in that relationship, I went around it. I went under it. I went over it, but I ignored it. And the book talks and encourages, the chapter encourages you as a reader to identify and validate your experience rather than ignore. So the validation in itself is crucial in breaking that silence and taking that first step towards liberation. So the book emphasizes the importance of cultivating an empowering mindset, encouraging the readers to reclaim their sense of self-worth, confidence, and autonomy. And it's challenging, by challenging those distorted beliefs imposed, and I will say that word again, imposed by the abuser, survivors can start to rebuild their lives. So I speak about some of the emotional healing. And part of that is acknowledging and holding my hand up and saying, I have been in a relationship that was not built on love, but it was built on the foundations of a coercive relationship. And my emotional healing started with me holding up my hand and speaking about my experience, rather than sometimes when we go through, and I go back to that word, the dash, when we go through things in our lives, sometimes we wish to keep it hidden, remain silent, and in doing so, we don't have that opportunity to heal. I mentioned James McNeill earlier on, and it's through him and some of the teachings that I've done with him that I understand and recognize I cannot drink poison and hope that the other person dies. So for me to heal, it's all about me. What they do and how they live, I have no control. So the strategies that I talk about and have learned to embrace is around forgiveness. And our previous author spoke about feelings and emotions, and depending on the feelings and or emotions, it can give you a clue as to whether or not you are through that forgiveness or whether or not you have anger or an emotional connection to the situation, time, or place. My forgiveness has given me the opportunity to be in the same space as my abuser and have no emotions. Not to hide, not to lower my eyes, not to avert my gaze, and not to leave that space because of how they made me feel at a certain period of my time. So I talk about breaking free, and that section gives a glimpse of my journey of how I broke free from the coercive controlling behavior, the relationship, how I rebuilt my support networks, breaking that cycle of guilt, shame, speaking about my finances. Like I said at the beginning, I never thought that would ever happen to me. I was debt-free. I was financially independent. I was able to travel at will. I had the credit card companies insisting on a regular basis, do you want me to up your credit limit? So I was okay. I was comfortable. At the end of the 18-month relationship, I was 140,000, yes, 140,000 pounds in debt. So I had to pick up the financial pieces. So I provide insight in terms of the legal perspectives. And as I said, depending on where you live, there are differences in relation to the legal perspectives and what can be and what is afforded to you. So the key theme within this chapter, and this book is available on Amazon. So the key theme is about education and awareness. It aims to raise your awareness about coercive control, ensuring that as a reader, you understand the dynamics, the consequences, the long-term effects of this form of abuse. And by shedding the light on the subject, we can work individually, collectively to prevent and address it. And again, one of the other authors spoke about one hand cannot clap. This is something that's going on with, when we talk about numbers, and I looked at the numbers, and before COVID, there were only, after it became law and legislation in the UK, there were just under 9,000. So that we're talking about 2018. By 2022, there were 33,000 reports to the police in relation to this behavior. In the space of what, 3-4 years, 33,000, tip of the iceberg. So what I would like the reader to take away is to recognize the manipulation, recognize the behavior, identify the tactics, and there are tactics and there are clear tactics employed by the abuser, and encourage them to trust your instincts. And institutions, instinct and intuition, sorry. Trust your instinct and intuition. So in terms of trusting your instinct and intuition, sometimes we feel that we're in a situation and if we get out, where do we go? What do we do? Again, this book encourages you to think about those networks bridges which you were forced to burn, to hold out your hand, because those same people that you no longer contacted because you are in a relationship and your abuser is manipulating who you contact, when you contact them, how you contact them, the length of time you spend in their company, monitoring your phone calls, monitoring your emails, etc. Once you've broken those chains, reach out to those same people, because you'll be, for me, I was pleasantly surprised and happy the fact that all those that I thought would say, oh, why did I do that? Question me. All of them, bar none, welcomed me back into our previous friendship, laughing and joking, etc., etc. So reach out to your support networks.
Okay, Sandra, can you just wrap it up in 2 minutes, please?
Yep. If you are unable to reach out to your support networks, what I would say is reach out to support networks in the wider context for individuals who have gone through coercive control. So in conclusion, this is a glimpse for survivors seeking liberation and empowerment. And by providing the valuable insights, strategies, and signs, this book equips the reader with knowledge, tools they need to break free. So you can get a copy of this book on Amazon. Just type in, it's my time. You can also get it, whether it be a Kindle edition or you can get it as a paperback copy. My specific chapter has also been uploaded onto Amazon. Again, it's called My Time, Coercive Control. I can be contacted on www.mindsoulsupport.com, or you can just send me a message, an email message, sandra@mindsoulsupport.com. So I put my details in the chat. The only thing I've not done is put my telephone number, but like I said, the book can be obtained from Amazon. If you choose to contact me, I can send you a free copy of the book by PDF, and you just need to pay for postage and packaging, not from the UK, not from Jamaica, but from the UK. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm joining from Nigeria, and I want to say thank you again for having me back on the Black Book Show. My name is Peter Okonkwo. I am a YouTuber. I'm an author of 6 poetry collections, and I'm an editor and the host and founder of P English Literature, where I review books and conduct interviews with authors around the world. And I've been able to have Makonnen some months ago, a year ago, on the show and an interview. So it's quite lovely to be here again. And thank you for inviting me back. So today I first love to talk about my book before I talk about my channel. Yeah, like I said, I have 6 books published so far. The first one is titled Ecstasy of the Dead, which is an anthology of poetry just centered on the human condition and quite a lot of things about humanity. I don't have a copy of that here. I would have loved to show it to the camera. So aside from Ecstasy of the Dead, it's just a collection of breathtaking poetry, not particularly centered on a particular theme. And yeah, that's about Ecstasy of the Dead. It was published 2020. That's 3 years ago. Then my second book is this. I have a copy of it here with me. This Fate in the Dungeon of Doom, which is a collection of poetry that seek to demystify the sort of relationship that exists between human fate and obstacle. You know, I love to think of myself as a philosopher. I love to think of myself as a thinker. And I like asking questions about some subject I just come up with about religion. I will come to be about religion, about fatalism, about fate, about destiny. So yeah, the book is particularly divided into 3 sections. The first part is a Poems of Fate, which is more like a contemplation of a dejected narrator, a contemplation of a narrator who has been through quite a lot of terrible things, terrible happenings, heart-wrenching occurrences, and all of that. Because from the tone of the narration, it's very sad, it's quite pulling, and quite sorrowful, like most people have said, and most people have read it in reviews. So in the first section, I seek to demystify the sort of relationship that exists between human fate and destiny, asking if fate is a making of ourselves, or an anonymous destination, asking if we human beings have control over our own fate, and asking if fate is the making of man, or it's just an anonymous destination, a destination we cannot propose, a destination we cannot give a say on, a destination that we have no control over. So the second part is the tragic forms of Kohame, which is a story of a Nigerian man gone missing, and the aftermath of his missing, his disappearance, on his family members, talk about the mother, the father, the siblings, and all of that. And in the poems of Kohame is a narrative poetry that's more like a poetry that is telling stories. And there we could feel the reverberation of Vanessa. Vanessa is a mother of Kohame who has gone missing for many years. So here, Vanessa has been to quite a lot of prophets, quite a lot of spiritualists trying to know the whereabouts of her son rather. And she has been to quite a lot of terrible situations and all of that. But eventually something happened. I would love to give much away. Then the third section is just a collection of other poems that resonate with different themes and titles. But that's about faith. It's a big good fit for people who love philosophy, a good fit for philosophy and religion, I'd say, and people who love breathtaking, things that'll make you think after you've read it. Then the third book is this, Whose Fault, Kismet, Impediment, which is, I would love to consider this as a follow-up to the second book, Fate in the Dungeon of Doom, because here too, I raise questions. I love asking questions more than I provide answers to them. And here I was asking questions about the relationship that exists between human fate and obstacles and stagnation and delays and hindrances and all of that. I love to think, like I said, I love to think of myself as a thinker, and I know that almost everybody on earth has experienced obstacles in one or many areas of their life. But then the discretion of us to navigate through these obstacles is what I kind of pull out here. Here too, most of my poems actually is written in the first person point of view, that's with the use of I and all of that. And so it is written from the perception of a narrator who has experienced quite a lot of delays in most of his endeavors and all of that. And here he was asking questions if the delays I'm experiencing is in line with my fate. There's quite a lot of questions there. And most of it myself, whenever I go through it, I dread it. I'm like, oh my God, did I really write that? That's quite sad. I shouldn't say that. So here, there's quite a lot of questions being raised, and the kind of relationship that exists between human fate and obstacles, trying to demystify if these things are in line with our fate, if obstacle is necessary to be, if obstacle is necessary in our line of fate, or if it's something that is being pulled up as a result of evil forces, I'd say. So there are quite a lot of questions here, questions about obstacle, questions about how we can navigate through it, and questions about the making of obstacle. If obstacle is the making of man, or is a must that we would always go through it. So this is actually divided into two sections. The first part is the poems of obstacles, and the other part are other poems. Then my fourth book is a series book. I'm checking the time and I have 7 minutes left, so I'm trying to recap everything within 7 minutes. So my fourth book is titled A Cry for Mercy, and it's meant to be a 3-series novel for Escape from the Unseen Dungeons. So I don't have a copy of A Cry for Mercy currently with me, and I've been so excited about the reception of A Cry for Mercy since it has been published. I've had a lot of people say, wow, that's quite impressive. It speaks to my life. And it gives you joy whenever you hear people saying what you've written speaks, because I love talking about the human condition. I love talking about things that affect human being. And basically from the title, A Cry for Mercy, it shows it's reaching from the point of view of a narrator who has been to quite a lot of pain, quite a lot of agony, crying, and asking questions. I love asking questions, many of which I dread answering. So there are quite a lot of sadness in it, quite a lot of agony in it. It's quite pathetic. It's quite very pulling, I would say. So yeah, that's about The Cry for Mercy. But then it's a spiritual book of poetry that seems to touch on the spirituality of you, human being, the spirituality of agony, I'd say, and quite a lot of other things encapsulated in it. Then the second book, the second series in Escape from the Sin Dungeons, After a Cry for Mercy, is this one, How the Demons Sleep. So here, I seek to demystify, I seek to lay differences between the human body, the human soul, and the human spirit. And I seek to lay balance between how the spiritual controls the physical. Well, I've had, as a philosopher, there are quite a lot of suggestions that way, or ideas or proposition that most people would say, oh no, I don't agree with that. And that's what makes philosophy quite interesting. You can say this and somebody has come up, so no, I don't love that, and just like I've seen most atheists said, well, Peter, your book is fine, but most of your claims I don't agree with them. And that's what that makes such kind of suggestion quite impressive. So yeah, I was trying to lay some balance there between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. And it's actually written from the perception of a narrator who has been to quite a lot of agony, I would say. So much of it is said or written in the I point of view. Then the other book is I Saw the Light, which is a third series in Escape from the Sin Dungeons. That one is currently not published yet. It will be published next month, 12th of July. That's on my birthday. Yeah, that's all about my book. And I want to say thank you. I know I have 4 minutes left, so I'd love to talk about P-English literature as well. So on P-English literature, it was founded 2 years ago, almost 2 and 8 months now, because by August we'll be 3 years old. And so far I've been able to have like more than 350 authors featured on the show. It's a platform that I created after publishing my book, and there are no means to promote indie authors. And I was like, let's come up with a concept. Let me create a channel whereby I can review books, particularly by indie authors, and interview them. But as the channel began to grow, I began to get more book review requests from books that are traditionally published, even from famous authors, and I have nothing to do than to oblige and welcome it. So we've been able to diversify from indie authors to reviewing books by other authors, traditionally publishing and of that, and been able to feature some well-known authors too on the show. So if there's anyone who would love to, and as such too, the Black Book Show goes on the channel, and if there's anyone who would love to have his book review, you can reach out to me via my email address, or go on internet and search for my name, Peter Okonkwo. My email address is penglishLiterature@gmail.com, penglishLiterature@gmail.com. And if you want to request for an interview, so that will be fine. Yeah, so on English literature, I review books, I conduct interviews with authors around the world. We have some times we're host for writers' conferences and some discussion, and it's been amazing so far, and I've been loving the reception so far. It's been awesome. And if there's anyone who would love to get featured on the show, you can reach out to me via my email. I'll be more than excited to look into your works, provide literary reviews and analysis and all of that. Yeah, so I'm checking the time. I have 2 minutes left to reach 9:50, and I wouldn't love to stay too much time or take it off my required time. So I'd love to stop here. Thank you so much, Makonnen, and thanks to everyone who is listening. I really appreciate this fabulous opportunity to be able to share my works and share all things I've got running on English literature. Thank you so much.
It's an honor to be here tonight. I want to thank you for the opportunity. My name is Adam Dupuis, and I'm from the island of Dominica, but I now reside in the Northwest United Kingdoms. That's in Preston. I've been here for about 8 years now. And to give you a little about my background, yes, for the first few speakers, especially the first gentleman, I remember him speaking about the Windrush. I am a Windrush campaigner, part of the Windrush organization in Preston, and do have a lot of, interest in the whole Windrush affair. Today, I just want to, I'm very grateful that the opportunity has been given to me to talk about an experience I had. This experience started in 2021 during the COVID pandemic. I decided to take a trip to Africa, and Ghana was the first option for some reason or another. In arriving in Ghana, of course, there's certain things that I see and I saw, things happened. One thing that that caught my attention is the educational facilities and the lack of thereof of educational facilities in the north where I went, which is in a very much in a remote area. This area is called Yendi, and Yendi used to be in the early centuries I should say the most powerful kingdom. It was the kingdom of the Dagomba. A few years ago, there was some rivalry between the overlord kings and the chiefs, and it is all settled now. And that story, while I was there, it was being told to me and the circumstances surrounding it. And that story involved a particular building, and that building was the former library of Yendi. Yendi is a village, it's the largest village in West Africa. And within that village, it comprises, I think, of another 26 small settlements or smaller villages. There's a shortage of proper schooling facilities. Well, whenever there is any, it is in dilapidated situation. It is in a state of shame, I should say. So having discussions with a few of the elders and the local leaders down in Yendi, in the area, while I was there on holiday, we decided that we should create an organization, and the birth of the Adam Dupuis Foundation was formed in the northern region. It has two aspects to it. One was to undertake major projects, if at all we have the opportunity, the capabilities and potentials. But where we saw our help could be useful is in the micro projects, and we focus our attention to education. The general secretary of the group is a medical doctor, Dr. Mohammed Adams, and he had discussions with the library authority, and they handed over that building. It's a massive building, but there's work to be done on the building, and it is the intention of our organization, the Adam Dupuis Foundation in Ghana, to assist the formation or the creation of this library. I am here on this show today for one main reason, of course, and is to address you, to speak with you, people on this show and those listening on Facebook, on radio, and all other social media. It's basically it's an appeal for help in sourcing the necessary materials. We're talking about, I cannot be specific, because we know what it entails. I'm sitting here today, listening to the stories of you, these authors that have spoken here today, and I know there are many more authors that have the opportunity to be on this show or will be on this show in the future. We know that from the birth of the internet, most of us, people we know, our friends, our families, we have cardboard boxes of educational, mathematics, science. The books we went to colleges, it's just downstairs in the basement, it's just being around. Today I'm calling, well, we are not actually ready today to receive the books, but I'm sending out this message of help, that you assist us in getting as much educational material as possible. Logistics will be worked upon. We will plan these things as we go forward. But today is just the opportunity to share with you that the children, the potential I see. I mean, just let's go back a little bit from the period of the COVID pandemic and the rise of the internet, the videos, TikTok, the type of work that we see comes out in forms of jokes, comedies, and short movies. That is talent. But yet still there are those gems who are in a situation where they are rusty, they have rust all over. We need to clean them up. We are appealing for help. There is no need to stretch this conversation. It's a very straightforward one. It's just to ask you to appeal to your networks, your friends, your families, when the time is right, that you will present yourselves with the support to support the children up in the area. This library, it is not just, we're trying to create not just a conventional library, because of course we still have the Ubuntu philosophy, which is for us, by us, and with us. So we are more looking for Pan-Africanist books, of course, historical books, but of course there also is an educational curriculum. So we would need all those encyclopedias and all these other books that we've had that had a very good impact on who we are today, to offer this opportunity for the children of Yendi and the surrounding villages. This is all I would like to say for now. I want to thank you all again for the opportunity, for having me speak with you on this forum. I am not an author. I have historical background, law background. I'm an ex-police officer. I worked in customs. I worked 25 years in the hotel industry. And after this session tonight, I think I'm considering putting pen to paper as well, because I've had a lot of experiences that maybe I should share with you all, like you just did. So it's all about reciprocating. Thank you once more for listening to me, and thank you for your promise to assist the children up in the northern region of Ghana. Thank you once more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adam. And I think someone's put a question: how can we contribute books to the library? If you share your email address, they can contact you via email, can't they, Adam? Regarding how to get the books in the library. Adam.
Yes, I am putting in my email in the group chat now.
Okay, that's fine. So yeah, if you contact Adam, and then he will discuss more details for authors that are interested in getting their books into the library. Also, please join the Black Book Show Facebook group if you haven't already. You literally just search the Black Book Shows on Facebook, and you're on the right page where this logo comes up, and then you'll be kept up to date on the latest events, whether it's my radio shows, podcast, or virtual book tours. I normally post regularly in the group, so do join the Facebook group to be kept up to date. Auntie Jean, this event is in collaboration with Auntie Jean's African Culture Market. Auntie Jean will be back next month. I hope you all see me as well. Well, I hope you all attend the show next month. That will be on Sunday, the 30th of July, at the same time, where a variety of authors of African heritage, as always, will be coming on the platform to talk about the different books that they've written. In conclusion, I would just like to say, thank all of the authors who have been on the Black Book Show this episode, and all the listeners, whether you're listening via Zoom, DAB, Island, Facebook, or Black Culture Radio. Thank everyone. And the recording of the show will be going on to P English Literature YouTube channel. You met Peter, is the founder of P English Literature. It will be going on that YouTube channel as well as the Black Book Show's website, so you'll be able to access the recording of the show. It won't go up straight away, but it will go up at a later date. Again, it's best to go on the Facebook group to be kept up to date with everything that is going on. Right, so in conclusion, I would just like to say goodbye to everyone, regardless of wherever you are. I would like to say whether it's good evening. I'm in the UK and England, so it would be good evening. I know some people maybe the afternoon time if you're in USA, etc., or in the Caribbean. So anyway, I would just like to say goodbye, and I hope you all tune in again next month. Goodbye and take care, everyone.